Yeah. Okay. So I work in natural health. So I was just genuinely curious about it. Never been a detoxer, never been a cleanser, been much more on the line of, the body will heal itself. Didn't really think it would be necessary, but seeing other people's results, I was like, yeah, I'll give this a go. I mean, for my patients, if I want to be able to recommend something, I need to know first how it works. And I found my experience of it truly well in that time. I would say it's not a coincidence. My business, I had a massive breakthrough while fasting, and that has led to like a massive leap in my own personal life. But I felt amazing. Of course, like the actual detoxing, the mucoid plaque, the liver flushes. I mean, it is all amazing, but I would say truly that it does elevate people. To a higher level that's sort of beyond just the physical, for sure. And so I did it and I had such a good experience with it. I asked my husband if he would do it as well. So neither of us had gut issues or sort of like chronic ongoing issues that we really wanted to do it for. And his results too, truly, if I showed you a before and after, and his journey since then, it just catapulted him. And as a woman, I guess, and especially working in my field, you do talk about the mental and emotional aspects of, what can be brought up in fasting. I was no stranger to that. So it wasn't, such a surprise. But to see him actually come to me and say, what, like fully like came up for me today, like I started thinking about this thing, when I was 16 and I realized it's really not a big deal anymore. And he wouldn't mind me saying this, but yeah, he used to be like really quite addicted to alcohol. And he realized this came up and he's sort of like, I really actually have no desire for it anymore. I sort of like realized, where that was coming from. And it was profoundly healing for him. So since then, I would recommend it to anybody. But yeah, so I think, yes, absolutely. They're potent. Yeah, on the physical and yeah, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above. Overlap, right? So I'm a homeopath. And so when we look at that, you look at the symptoms of someone who's got a congested liver, all of our homeopathic remedies, your sulfur, all of the things that stimulate the liver, you'll see symptoms. People are, more addicted to, the liver abusing type things, but they're angry and they're all this and that. And in Chinese medicine, probably all totally the same. So it makes complete sense that all of these modalities sort of converge, and a clogged up liver in the physical will tie into those mental, emotional spheres. The overlap has been, I think, very, very interesting.
Yeah,
So we did the rainbow cleanse.
great
Both
one.
of us actually did sort of a modified version with our son, who has had gut issues. So even for him, we just, went gentle with the enzymes, but profound changes in bowel movements, and he's 4. So wonderful. And I mean, I need to ask you guys more about this, but shifts in eye color. Like what? Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've had that
Yeah,
actually. I noticed it significantly after, so I've done 12 liver cleanses, and 10 intestinal cleanses. I've done a lot. I've done a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
But
And
I
I would
really
say,
noticed
like,
it. The eyes changed.
yeah, yeah, lightening up, more blue. So we're brown-eyed family, and seeing more blue, and when you're born with blue eyes, you sort of do wonder, why do they turn brown? But yeah, I'm not even studied in iridology, but fascinating. I look at my son, so closely, and to see the shifts in his eye, change in behavior, this sort of stuff. So yeah, fascinating. But yeah, so my husband and I both do the rainbow cleanse. He wants to do it again. It's addictive. Um, and because just the depth of it, and you just feel so good, so good.
You feel so clear. And it's
So we did the rainbow cleanse.
a great
Both
one.
of us actually did sort of a modified version with our son, who has had gut issues. So even for him, we just, went gentle with the enzymes, but profound changes in bowel movements, and he's 4. So wonderful. And I mean, I need to ask you guys more about this, but shifts in eye color. Like what? Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've had that
Yeah,
actually. I noticed it significantly after, so I've done 12 liver cleanses, and 10 intestinal cleanses. I've done a lot. I've done a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
But
And
I
I would
really
say,
noticed
like,
it. The eyes changed.
yeah, yeah, lightening up, more blue. So we're brown-eyed family, and seeing more blue, and when you're born with blue eyes, you sort of do wonder, why do they turn brown? But yeah, I'm not even studied in iridology, but fascinating. I look at my son so closely, and to see the shifts in his eye, change in behavior, this sort of stuff. So yeah, fascinating. But yeah, so my husband and I both did the rainbow cleanse. He wants to do it again. It's addictive. And because just the depth of it, and you just feel so good. So good.
Like,
yeah.
Was there anything that you noticed with that feeling of emptiness, while also simultaneously feeling full? It's like that weird paradox of like full but empty.
Yeah. And I am someone who could never skip a meal. Like, I've never tried to fast, really. I would just be so hungry. And I found it quite easy. So when anyone has asked me, I'm like, it's really quite doable. But that energy and that humming and that vibrating, like, of your body, when you go to sleep, I think, yeah, what wonderful feeling. Definitely feel light. Do you know what I mean? You just feel, just fantastic.
It's amazing. That was my aha moment when I saw mucoid
like,
plaque the size of my arm, and I was like,
yeah,
excuse me, what's this? But I was so excited. I screamed. I literally yelled out loud because I'd seen some mucoid plaque before, but it was like these little tiny strings, not the size of my forearm, like the width and length of my forearm. And then it wasn't. I think my real big aha moment was when I stepped on the scale after the cleanse, and I had lost like 10 pounds, and I was like,
in the 1 week,
I didn't have 10 pounds to lose, but I guess I did. And it was just, it's seeing that, like, it could help so many people who are struggling to lose weight too.
Definitely. And even, like, it's the little things, right? When you are fasting or you're doing like a deep cleanse, even I notice like little things like my gums completely, like, do you know what I mean? No inflammation, like, they almost like seem to come up a little bit. So it's just like that tiny bit of inflammation, even in your gums, you think about that systemically through your whole body. Whereas when you fast, and like, I notice it immediately, like my face when fasting, a couple of days in, it's like, do you know what I mean? It's got the look about, it's like, no puffiness, just, amazing. But yeah, the mucoid plaque, I was not expecting that. I thought that would be something for people who have gut issues, sort of like proper dysfunctional guts. Yeah, shook.
It's just so,
and it doesn't taste gross. Do you know what I mean? How many people have done things that are like gross? This to me is like any cleanse anyone's ever done, but just like on raw, in terms of like quick results. Like, absolutely. And it doesn't taste gross. Do you know what I mean? How many people have done things that are like gross? This to me is like any cleanse anyone's ever done, but just like on raw, in terms of like quick results. Like, absolutely.
Totally
funny. My cravings definitely, like, now, and I'm like, is this a psychological thing? Things like pawpaw and the fruits, so much more. The things that are like higher in enzymes, my body now naturally, we are loving. So very bizarre. I used to find rock melon, the taste of it, like, oh, so off. Something in it made me want to gag. But now it's like, oh, delicious. So yeah, bizarre the way. And of course, right, the flora of my gut is completely changed. Of course, it's not going to want the same things. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, at all.
So we've got some leftovers from the cleanses that we bought, but we sort of do. And for the kids, I mean, we've got 3 kids, and we just like giving it to them. So that's their first thing of a morning. Do you know what I mean? Have your black juice. And then then we sort of keep them busy, let it really sink in, do its work. And then they'll more sort of start with lunch. But yeah, we do that for the kids, my husband and I, not as much. But another thing that we have noticed is the gut is more sensitive. Do you know what I mean? You can't actually mistreat it as much. But I think because you're missing all that mucoid plaque, that buffer, so if you're going to drink like a large coffee, you're going to really feel that, and you're going to really absorb that. And so it does definitely make you rethink what you're going to eat and what you're going to do, because I think sometimes, people's guts maybe are a little bit numb, to things. But having that mucoid plaque out, I think, you do want to keep it pretty clean. I find it super interesting. Like for my husband and I, we sort of consider it, we keep ourselves well. I will be working in my profession well into my 80s, making like an amazing wage. It's like, if you invest in yourself now, you could work another decade. You could be well and in a great mindset. And that's like $1 million, do you know what I mean, income over that time. So it's like, to invest now, these like parts of it to us is like, you know, yeah, we don't really think about it. But interesting too, when you're talking about like the feel it to heal it, and the going back through time, you know, the tissue stores it, the body keeps a score. In terms of homeopathy, which is what I'm usually doing, it is so much of that. It will be an emotional wound is one of the biggest catapults for any of the physical things. Anything that's playing up, you can almost always tie it to an energetic issue, whether that is your own energetic issue or family inherited, you know, a genetic predisposition. And it's just like the way that the energy, like, you know, goes around your body, these certain blueprints, and being able to alter the blueprints. And I find it interesting in the physical that this product might have the depth to do that, whereas a lot of things, you know, I mean, I don't honestly believe that a simple juice cleanse really has the depth to produce such changes. And it's because, you know, the stones are coming out, the physical tissue. I know people who've done juice cleanses, you know, for long periods and just haven't gotten, you know, the results that they have. So yeah, I think that's interesting
stuff.
Back in the day, perhaps they had a lot more access to like high enzyme fruit and veg. They would have fasted a lot, you know, going back. And so they maybe naturally did not have the build-up that we have. But these days it's like, and also in terms of like even financially, like you get your head around it, because it's like people will spend hundreds of dollars a year on supplements that they take routinely. It's like, clean yourself out and then you probably can afford to take half the doses of the things that you're taking. Do you know what I mean?
Or not even take them at a young age.
And they taste good, so it's actually quite easy. I mean, I asked my kids to take a few things over the years, and yeah, enzymes actually go down fine.
What's been their favorite
out of the enzymes?
Yeah.
They're probably all different. So I've got 3 boys, and they're all quite young. So they're one's 5, 4, and 2. And I think the Detox, one of them, definitely. And like sometimes honestly I've got to watch the fridge because they'll like get it out and they won't even water it down. They'll just think, oh, I'll just sneak some of this. I'm like, excuse me. And is it mycelia? Is that how you say the other one?
Yeah, the mycelia.
That would be, I think, my other 2 sons, I think that would be their pick.
Those are the best ones. Honestly.
Oh, good. They naturally. And you know what's interesting? Even with like the viral load, I'm sure it's the same where you are, but there's just a lot of stuff flying around, obviously, like the viral load, a lot of recurrent illness here. And since we have all done that, and I mean, we're healthy anyway. So like start that as like a point. I work in natural medicine. So of course I've always done all the things, but it's like next level wellness for them. And yeah, really not even susceptible. Like they can be exposed to people who are very sick, where I would usually expect like, you know, a normal sickness that they might get and not. So I've been like, oh, okay. And I think during the fast, I know we had people staying with us who had COVID, and I sort of thought, oh, you know, they'll pick it up. Didn't even pick it up. So I find that very fascinating. Like a fasting body may not even be susceptible because it was during the fast. So who knows? But
that's what do you do to create a better self and a better world? What would you say is your inspirations for that?
What do I do to create a better world? I guess my like God-given journey is in natural health and empowering parents. So it's mainly homeopathy. That is like, you know, that's sort of my gift. And through the last couple of years, and I knew, so when I had my 3rd son, I'd literally just given birth, and I'm not normally someone to take on more than I can handle, but I really got this urge to just complete one more degree in it. Do you know what I mean? One step up, because I really felt that like, yep, the world is about to change and you want to be there to sort of like catch it when it's, do you know what I mean, going to crumble. So this is just pre-COVID. And I've felt like the last couple of years, like there is a massive movement of people who are just so ready to like heal. Really, at the end of the day, it's just healing physically, mentally, emotionally, and we're all doing it together. And I feel like we are all really stepping up like together with that. So yeah, that sort of that's like my gift to the world. And I think in terms of health, like, of course, so mainly homeopathics is energetic medicine, so like stimulates, the physical changes, but mainly energetic. So to have a product that on the physical aspect of that can catapult the healing, because it's very hard to be a happy, positive, uplifted person if you're in a sick body. And it's just a reality. It's really hard to not be sad and resentful. And so to raise that standard and have people feel free, I think that's the feeling, free and happy in their body. And things don't need to be perfect. And it's really like, it's the journey. And it really is. I think that's probably what I've realized the most the last couple of years. It's that journey is the fun part, not the destination. Sounds so cliche, right? But you really start to love it for what it is. And even for the illnesses that brought you to that point, you have this full awareness of like, oh, this is where my addictions are, or this is where like my personality is sort of being shaped by these certain circumstances. And you can really just, slowly move through it and just heal. Yeah. So does that answer it?
Sure.
It's so much more than just shedding mucoid plaque. It's more than, you know what I mean? It is that next level. And it is quantum, right? And I guess that's what the last couple of years have been for everyone. We're all quantumly entangled. And so, we're all, doing it together. So,
yeah, we're able to experience it and simultaneously feel the highs and also feel the lows. It's like that feeling to healing is what people are so becoming aware of now, especially in the natural healing world. People are kind of like, oh, like it isn't always rainbows and butterflies. It's you gotta feel some stuff in order to move through it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. That just being able to feel it and not being afraid of like, oh, what's the wet? Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to feel it. I don't need to run away from it. It's actually just fine to experience this. It's actually normal and appropriate. Mm-hmm. And my body and my mind are just constantly working to protect me. And I think when you know that, you really come into like that understanding and feeling it. It's like your love and respect of your body is just like never before. And it just changes. It changes the way like you walk through the world, just knowing that. So that is really nice to see people more.
Yeah, it's kind of like the weather, you're not trying to control whether it rains or is it sunny. You just let it happen. It's kind of like our internal weather is going to do what it needs to do in that moment. And the more that we try and control it and the more we try and manipulate it, the more thunderstorms and hurricanes that we get. But if we just let it be, it may just be a slight shower and then it's gone. It's like, that's
you surrender like the control of it, and then all of a sudden you find there's much less that you actually want to control anyway. But the tighter you do try and hold on to it, it's like, oh dear Lord, this is going to break. This is not going to be good.
Exactly.